Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining us here. I am hoping that I can get online with you all, and it doesn't seem to want to work. At least I can't view any of the comments that you make here today. So unfortunately, I won't be able to, well, I can see your questions. I'll be able to see your questions. I'll do it here on good old-fashioned Facebook here. So we got a couple of good mornings out there. Lisa Stevens saying good morning and all happy Friday. Have a great day. We got Jackie Dixon saying good morning from Trinidad. We have strong winds this morning. And look at this. We are looking out at Mount Shasta Ski Park this morning. They reported sometime yesterday evening about 8 to 10 inches of snow at the ski park. They had announced that they're still scheduled to open tomorrow on Saturday. And look at this. It is still coming down this morning. They're expected to probably see upwards of maybe 2 feet of snow today on top of what they've already seen. So yeah, welcome sight indeed. All right, let's take a look at some of the other reports that we did receive here over the last 12 hours. You see that exclamation point out near Weaverville. This is actually a landslide that was reported. You know, we're talking about the potential for flooding. We can't forget about the fact that we've got very saturated ground in the higher elevations too, especially below where the snow is, and you know, you start seeing those mudslides, rock slides, and landslides. There you can see this is actually Junction City, mud, dirt, rock slide on Highway Road. That was at 4:20 this morning, so interesting to see if it's cleared out or not. Category snow out in Ruth, California. Got a report there at 3,400 feet. So that confirms the 3,500 foot or so range. It could be a little bit lower than that, but it was only 38 degrees. So it was probably very slushy snow. Probably didn't see much in the way of accumulation, if any, at that temperature, but definitely seeing some of that snow in the lower elevations. Also, at 5:25 this morning, a tree down Highway 36 near Grizzly Creek, Redwoods State Park. That's in southern Humboldt County. Here you can see 2 miles east of Myers Flat. This tree fell in roadway, in the road. I'm just like reading it word for word without any context here. Several cars hit. Oh man, several cars hit it, I guess, between Myers Flat and Miranda on Highway 101. So there you go. I mean, you got to be really careful out there. You know, watch for standing water, watch for debris, watch for trees that go down on the highway, watch for snow as you go into the higher elevations. So yeah, definitely very interesting to see that. Let's go ahead and now take a look at the radar in motion. See if we can do that. There you go. We are seeing that rain coming in from the west. You see a bit of a lull this morning, and that was to be expected. But we are starting to see that cold front that's associated with that last push of rain that'll be coming through here this morning and afternoon. The heaviest rainfall so far has been this morning, at least, on the north coast, and we are now seeing more flood advisories as a result of that heavier rainfall. Most likely seeing some mudslides and debris flows. On top of that, you have the potential for a lot of the low-lying areas seeing some flooding. So that's going to be through the rest of this morning, at least for Humboldt County. Where you see that area of bright green circled over the valley, that's through basically the rest of the day today. And the darker green is the flood watch, and that's through this afternoon about 4 or 5 o'clock. Take a look at the rainfall we've seen over the last 24 hours, and it has been about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch in the valley, much less in the north and east. Look at Shingletown, though, over an inch in Redway, about 1/2 an inch to a little over 3/4 of an inch for Eureka and Crescent City. Still have a wind advisory until 10 o'clock this morning, gusty winds. You can still see some of the power outages, most likely left over from last night and early yesterday morning. But again, we see down trees in the last 24 hours or last 12 hours. We could have seen some of that even here last night and early this morning. But you can see here, remember Butte County, remember Oroville. Yesterday at this time, around this time, slightly before that, 78-mile-an-hour peak gust, right? So yeah, that was up to eventually 9,000 customers without power. Now it's down to 2,000, 1,000 Plumas, 1,000 Lassen, and about 100 for Tehama and Humboldt County. Let's talk about the snow now, where you do have a winter storm warning in effect through this evening. A lot of chain requirements east of I-5. And remember earlier this week, before the rain and snow even kicked in, or the snow, I was saying, hey, it's east of I-5, east of I-5. That's what you got to watch out for. Here we are. Look at that. I mean, chain requirements galore. Nothing on I-5 just yet, but on Highway 36, I had mentioned yesterday that we're going to have to watch for Highway 36, and we're certainly starting to see that this morning. All right, for those of you that are in a hurry, let's get you through your Krueger's Quickcast so you know what to expect here for today. Temperatures around 50, give or take right now in the valley. We've got low 30s in the mountains. And this is why we do expect, as some colder air moves in, snow levels to drop a little bit from what we saw yesterday. All right, out the door this morning. Should be a little wet here, I'd say, for the valley, northward into Siskiyou County westward, but still dry even at 8 o'clock this morning. For Modoc County and the eastern mountains, you'll eventually get in on some of this rain and snow later this afternoon. And Modoc County, well, you're probably not even going to see much, really. So there's the area of low pressure. If you look closely, just to the west of California, right, really kind of hitting the coast as we speak. It's got some colder, unstable air. We could even see a few thunderstorms. There have been some lightning strikes over the ocean this morning. We could see some even making their way to the coast here this morning, and even for parts of the valley later today. 8 o'clock this morning, still really not getting the brunt of the rain in the valley just yet, but there's that one last push of some heavier rainfall for the coast as we go into the mid to late morning hours. By midday, we're starting to see more of that rain. Now notice, out near Corning and Chico, Oroville, you're seeing some, what look like some strong thunderstorms developing. So we could see some thunderstorm activity here for parts of the valley. Heavier rainfall, heavier snow still off to the west of the valley. Then by around mid-afternoon, we're starting to see that rain really push through the valley, and you can see the snow off to the east. Now, also take note, you see that line just northwest of Redding? That looks to me to be a bit of a convergence line. And the reason I would want to believe that could possibly happen is because we do have some strong south-southeast winds. And that is a perfect setup for a convergence line to develop. Now, again, stressing the fact that it most likely won't be a repeat of what we saw on Sunday, but it is something that we'll have to watch here. I mean, it could be something that could last for a few hours, which would mean the potential for some minor to moderate flooding, but again, not to the extent that we saw on Sunday. And then you can see by 8 o'clock at night, it kind of starts to push off to the east. We're still seeing things begin to really taper off. Still a few leftover snow flurries off to the east. The winds, again, this is why we have to watch for that convergence line, because even midday today, winds are still over possibly 40 miles per hour for parts of the valley. But as we go through the afternoon into the evening, look at the winds. They're starting to die down. And they'll be even weaker by the time we get into tonight. Look at the chances for rainfall. They're plummeting off that cliff here by the time we get into the weekend. And it looks like, at the very least, we're going to be dry through Wednesday of next week. I think the basically areas east of the North Coast are going to have to wait until Friday of next week before we see another possibly wet weather pattern begin to move in. That's still a long way out, but you know, something worth monitoring. Temperatures upper 40s to around 50 for the valley today. And for the mountains, you're talking upper 30s to low 40s. All right, here's what it looks like here for tonight. We're looking up at 30s to about 40 degrees, and you can see 20s for the higher elevations. It's cold. It's cold tonight, even for the valley. Even for the coast, you're dropping down into the upper 30s. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast for the valley. One last day of rain, wind, and snow in the mountains at least. Dry for Saturday, Sunday, dry through Thursday of next week. For the coast, now you'll notice for the coast and inland, I have included a chance for showers as early as Thursday of next week, after today, obviously, and then on Friday as well. But I think everyone else, including Trinity County, is going to have to wait until Friday of next week, right? Because today, yes, snow levels as low as 3,000 feet at their lowest in some spots here. This could mean borderline Mount Shasta I-5 seeing some snow. We'll see. We'll have to kind of wait and see. It also means borderline for, say, places like Buckhorn Summit, seeing possibly some snow too. Again, have to keep a close eye on that as well. Take a look at some of the cameras they have out there this morning. We're also going to check in with some of you this morning here. Looks like we've got Tim Moore saying, still windy here in Lookout. Oh, that's what he's saying that to Curtis Brown. Curtis Brown saying, good morning, everyone. Still windy here west of Red Bluff. A little break in the rain. Looks like that's the case. We'll kind of keep some of those cameras going. There's Main Street Chico. Tim Moore saying, hope you had a Merry Christmas with your family, but you were there for us. You're awesome. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. Yeah. My wife even said something to me this morning. It was kind of frustrating. She said I was kind of somewhere else. I was a little distracted by the weather. I wanted to make sure that I kind of kept everybody informed. So hopefully I can make up for it today or this weekend. My son is excited to get out to the ski park. We're not going Saturday, that is for sure. It's going to be busy, busy, busy. But he was actually talking about maybe New Year's Day. New Year's Day is a good day to go because a lot of people are still hungover and they're just, want to sleep in. So we get there really early on New Year's Day because we don't party. And then we can get out there nice and early, get a good parking spot, and beat the crowd if there is a crowd. We've been there at times where over the New Year, on New Year's Day at the ski park, like barely anybody there. And you just had the place to yourself. Not to yourself, but still not a lot of people. Taking a look at Crescent City this morning. Did the camera freeze up on me? It looks like it did. Yeah, bummer. But you can see what it looked like earlier. It looked like it was a little wet out there. There you go. Let's see if there's any other comments here. No, I don't see any other comments. Good. Well, there you go. Bald Hill West, looking down at Hoopa Valley. You can see, looks like we're some of those low clouds. Can't really see much from Soda Ridge here. We're going to take a look at another camera, and this would be Fort Jones. Doesn't look like we have much cloud cover out there, but it does look like we are seeing things kind of clearing out. You can see some of the lights coming in down to Scott Valley down there. I'm taking a look at, this is old. This is, that has been updated since the 24th. By the way, we don't have a pet of the week. Yesterday, of course, as you know, was Christmas. And they record the day before so we can get it on here for Friday. And so nobody was there to record a pet of the week. But I did want to still give credit where credit is due on our sponsorship, and that is Grange Co-op. Grange Co-op, as you may or may not know, opened up shop here in the Reading area, I don't know, a few months ago. And they were gracious enough to become a pretty big sponsor here at Weather NorCal. So I'm very thrilled to have them on board. So they sponsor the animal family segment. So we've got Pet of the Week, we've got Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. We also do a segment for them called the Grange Co-op Spotlight. And we spotlight a different part of their store every week, and you can check out what they do. So check them out. Go to grangecoop.com and you can check them out. They started originally in, I think it's Grants Pass area in Southern Oregon, and there were a lot of people in our area, Northern California here, in particular Reading, that went up there and loved the shop and always said, hey, you should open up a store in Reading. And well, they listened to their customers and they opened up a store. It's at the Old Shopco in North Reading. Be sure to check it out. They are a great sponsor. I'm very excited to have them on board. So again, we don't have a pet of the week, but I did want to give credit where credit is due for our sponsorship. Also want to give credit to our other sponsor, and that is our sponsor of Coffee with Krueger. They've been the sponsor of Coffee with Krueger since day one, and that is at Wind River Resort and Casino. Enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, let's take a look at our weather headlines. One more day. Yes, one more day. Wind, rain, and snow. Snow levels between 3,000 and 4,000 feet today. Drier pattern this weekend, going well into next week. Yeah, we're going to dry things out and clear things out. So that means all the snow that we see in the mountains, oh yeah. Talk about a beautiful sight. Freshly snow-capped mountains. That's what I'm talking about. Making this it's already a beautiful area. It's going to make it even more beautiful. Rain possible, though, by the end of next week. It looks like sometime near the beginning of the new year, we're going to see another wet weather pattern begin to move in. And so we're going to talk about all of this in our deeper dive forecast, which is sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Frank, come help with the dishes.
What?
The dishes!
I heard it the first time. I just got back from Shasta Hearing Aids, but she doesn't know it yet. What?
Forget it.
All right, once again, I want to thank Shasta Hearing Aids for their sponsorship of the Deeper Dive Forecast. So let's get right into it and get into that deeper dive, starting off with our current temperatures. Right around 50 in the valley. We've got 30s for the higher elevations, upper 40s right now for those of you along the coast. The radar is showing that we did actually see some lightning strikes there. You can see even a lightning strike here just recently. Now, there's been some heavy rainfall early this morning around, central and southern Humboldt County. This has prompted the National Weather Service over the last few hours to update there's a flood watch in general, but then what they do is on top of that, when there is an actual area of some heavy rainfall coming through, then they issue a flood advisory just to let people know that, hey, listen, you're under a flood watch. Now you've got some heavy rain over you. Just be on the lookout for some rising waters. So some of the low-lying areas, creeks and streams, right? You may start to see some of that minor to moderate flooding developing in the area. Now, this is passing, but you'll notice as this moves eastward, it's actually been fairly stationary. You've got another band coming in. Also take note, we're starting to see some snow begin to work its way a little bit more now into Trinity County. So Scott Mountain Pass, most likely seeing some snow at this point. Meanwhile, we take you out to the valley, eastward. It's dry right now, but all of this is that main area of low pressure. You see the spin right here. This is going to be moving eastward throughout the day today. So rain chances progress through the morning and through the afternoon. There you can see the area of low pressure right here, cold air. So that's why I do expect snow levels to maybe drop just a little bit from what we saw yesterday, maybe by about 500 feet in some cases. There's the area of low pressure. It's moving out. Look at this, by Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You see that high pressure is building in, and that is going to allow us to dry out. Oh, it's finally nice to be able to say that, right? I mean, by the time we're talking about the weather tomorrow, we're going to be talking about dry conditions. But we still have a little bit of that cold and unstable air in place. That could give us a chance for a few thunderstorms. At this point, I wouldn't anticipate any severe thunderstorms, but do be on the lookout for the potential for some lightning strikes, maybe some small hail, maybe some gusty winds associated with those storms, but don't expect to see any spin-ups. We didn't really see any over us yesterday. There was actually a tornado warning to the south of us yesterday afternoon at Santa Cruz, believe it or not. So they got to see that, but we didn't, thank goodness, right? All right, so there you can see, 6 a.m. Let's take you to about 8 o'clock this morning, actually noon. You see how by noon it's beginning to push through. So now we're seeing snow mainly to the east. Now, a couple of places to watch, and we'll take a closer look at this in our road conditions here, but you can see here, this is rain and then snow on either side of I-5. Here's the deal. You can see it's pretty heavy snow, right? A lot of times you get that heavy snow and it really draws down that colder air to the surface. And that can itself locally produce some lower snow levels as that colder air kind of pulls down with that heavier precipitation. And then eventually turns over to snow. Now, typically when that happens, it takes a while for it to cool the road off enough that it can accumulate on the road. But we're going to have to really watch I-5 near Mount Shasta through the day today. It's going to be borderline, I'd say. And then there you can see, at least at noon, still looks like mainly rain on Highway 299. There are chain requirements this morning on 36, and we'll probably see that here through the rest of the day. East of I-5 goes without saying. Chain requirements up all east of I-5. All right, so here we are, 2 o'clock. Once again, all right, now we're seeing all snow there, right, as we go through the afternoon. And partially because, again, it's such heavy snow and heavy rain that it brings down that colder air. Highway 299, there is Buckhorn Summit right there. Don't see it, but Scott Mountain Pass. Yeah, Scott Mountain Pass has snow, without a doubt. And I think we're still going to see some chain requirements on Highway 36 West. 4 p.m. Now you can see it looks like it's all snow there. And then off to the east, you've got that snow. But this is the back edge of the storm. Because look at this. By the time we get into the afternoon, it's starting to taper off. But again, this model too, also picking up with those strong south winds we're expecting, we could see that convergence line develop in Redding. But it's developing later in the day. Remember, Sunday, it started early in the morning and it lasted all day long, right? That's not going to be the case here. It may agitate some of the flooding that we have seen and create some minor to moderate flooding if it sticks around long enough, but typically these develop. And again, Sunday was just a unique event, and a lot of people are just learning now about convergence lines because of that. But we've had convergence lines forever, okay? But typically they don't last as long as we saw on Sunday. So when we see these convergence lines, I don't want you to go, oh my God, code alert, red alert, right? No, don't panic. It typically doesn't last for very long. It sometimes wobbles back and forth and it isn't that much of an issue. But that'll be moving out by the time we do go into this evening and tonight. Still some leftover snow flurries off to the east overnight tonight. By the way, maybe a chance for a sprinkle or a light shower for the coast. There may be some morning fog depending on what the winds are doing tomorrow morning, but the winds will be blowing from the north and should help to scour out any fog trying to develop. Dry by Saturday, dry through the weekend, dry through at least the middle of next week. Underplaying what we're going to see today, I'd say 1/4 to 1/2 inch in the valley, and I'd say probably an inch or more once all is said and done for the coast, much less off to the north and east. And a lot of that because, again, it's going to be in the form of snow. Now, we do have that flood watch. Now, remember what I was talking about. When you see these areas of green that are circled or boxed in, those are areas that saying, hey, listen, you've got rain going on right now. Just kind of be on the lookout for low-lying areas, street flooding, the works, right? Creeks and streams. If you're in a flood-prone area, you'll most likely start to see some of that flooding. And we can't, of course, rule out mudslides and debris flows. We saw one, right? I believe it was near Junction City on Highway 299, where we did see a landslide early this morning. So it's happening, and it's still going to be happening most likely through the day today. But I do want to point out that as we kind of progress through time, any of the rivers that are at least even getting close to the action stage are showing signs. So we're going to see a little spike here. This is Eel River at Fern Bridge, so this is on the coast. And you can see here, we see a little spike after today's rain, but then it starts to plummet after that. Why? Because, of course, the rain is stopping. So we see the floodwaters begin to recede, as well as the rivers. Sacramento River at Tehama Bridge, it did kind of spike last night and right around now, but it's on this downward trend here. So we'll continue to see that downward trend as we go into the next 12 to 24 hours. Obviously, very, very good news. All right, you know, we are going to see drier weather. I mean, remember I was mentioning we're going to see drier weather as we go into really Saturday, Sunday, through Wednesday, even possibly Thursday. But by around the 1st of the year, we may start to see another wet pattern move in. Now, as of right now, it looks like the heaviest will be down to our south, but we could see some of that rain as we go into the 1st of the year. Now let's talk about the winds. There still is a wind advisory. The good news is, even though it's going to be gusty, it's not going to be to the extent that we've seen over the last few days. We're not talking 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. We're talking 30, maybe 40 miles an hour. Still strong enough that, all right, you still might see a broken tree branch or even a tree topple over. Still a very saturated, soft ground. Doesn't take as much for the wind to blow those trees over, but you can still see, even this morning, still some power outages. 2,000 customers without power in Butte, 1,000 in Plumas County. It lasted about 3,000. In fact, earlier that was at 5, so it has dropped. So it looks like they've been able to recover there. About 100 in Humboldt and Tehama County. Wind gusts, well, there it is. Remember I was talking about 30, maybe close to 40 miles per hour. Midday today, still some strong winds. And then even as we go into this evening, we still have that strong wind. So that's why we could see that convergence line develop. And it's kind of interesting when you look at the contours of where the weaker winds are and the stronger winds. Right there. That's where the line, the convergence line, typically develops. Right there where you see that hard line of green to blue. That's where we typically see a convergence line develop. So if we see a convergence line develop, it would be late this afternoon into the evening. But as you can see here, going into tomorrow, those winds die down. And a north wind. So we don't have to even worry about a convergence line. Winds coming in from the north. And that's going to be the case on Sunday. The winds will pick up a little bit on Sunday from the north. And that's going to be upwards of around 10, 15, maybe 20 miles an hour. Switching gears now, we're talking about the snow. This has been one of those weeks where it's like rain. All right, let's talk about the rain. All right, now let's talk about the wind. All right, now let's talk about the snow. Right, because there's so many elements that we have to talk about here. So we still have the winter storm warning through this evening and into tonight. We also still have an avalanche warning for the backcountry of Mount Shasta through 4 p.m. today. If you're an outdoor enthusiast and you're a backcountry enthusiast, now you know, okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. It's your choice whether or not you want to take that risk. But there you can see, on top of the last report that they gave yesterday evening at the ski park of 8 to 10 inches of snow, they're going to put on top of that possibly upwards of 2 more feet of snow just for today alone. We've got some heavy snow, some heavy bands of snow that will be pushing through today, and that's really going to help that ski park. But it's not going to help in the travel, is it? Right? We take a look at 9 o'clock this morning. All right, let's take a look at it closely. You see that? Again, just that little sliver of a mix. This is why we have to watch I-5 near Mount Shasta. We take you to east. That's where we do have snow and plenty of chain requirements. And that's typical. I mean, it always starts east of I-5 because we have higher mountain passes to the east. They're not as high to the west of that. But you take a look at Highway 36. There are chain requirements there, but there's Highway 299 west. Looks like it's going to be okay. At least for now, right? We have to watch that. So 2 main areas that I'm watching as far as borderline snow, rain-snow mix, I-5 near Mount Shasta and also Buckhorn Summit. It gets kind of borderline there as well, but it doesn't look to be very heavy. So if it does come through, it doesn't look to be too terribly heavy. Now, Friday night, again, bit of a mix. Here's a look at Buckhorn, a bit of a mix there as well, but snow on Highway 36. And then even though the snow is pretty much stopping by the time we get late tonight, tomorrow morning, there's going to be some leftover snow on many of the mountain passes. So do note that even if you wake up in the morning like, oh, it's not snowing, well, there still may be chain requirements. And that's why it's important that you go to weathernorcal.com, click on road conditions, and from there, it's just a great one-stop shop where you can find out where the chain requirements are. You can take a quick glance at all the cameras so you can see where it's snowing or not snowing. These are my estimated snowfall totals. Now, this is, if we can get, again, it's that borderline. This is where things get tricky. You kind of get that borderline. It's going to be 3,000. It's going to be 3,500. So if we get that down to 3,000 feet, yeah, you could see a couple of inches of snow in Mount Shasta City. A trace, maybe if we can get that mix to a bit of a trace out towards places like Bernie, 3,000 feet, right? 3,500 feet. Shingletown proper, maybe a trace. But above that, 4,000, 4,500 feet, yeah, several inches of snow. Chester, on top of what we've already seen here, maybe 2 to 4, 1 to 2 in Portola. Alturas, yeah, you might see a little bit of snow as well as Fall River Mills, but yeah, not even probably a mix for Weaverville or Hayfork. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to see a ton of snow for many of the mountain communities, but yeah, you go above that, and that could, of course, create some travel delays. Here, a look at the chain requirements out there right now. Again, east of I-5, and a lot of them, folks. You can also see the chain requirements on Highway 36 in Trinity County. Nothing on I-5 yet. Nothing on Highway 299 West yet. We'll see. We'll take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning. And you can see I-5, once again, it's clear of snow. Doesn't look like it's raining or snowing there much, but that will change. Looks like we've got some snow on the highway there of Snowman Summit on Highway 89, working its way to the entrance of the ski park, at least the ski park highway. Grass Lake, yeah, looks a little slushy, icy there. Kind of see some of the snow up there too, 4,200 feet. Let's take you out now to Highway 299 East. Yes, Hatchet Mountain has gotten a little slushy out there. That's kind of getting borderline where it looks like even some clearing off in the distance there. Highway 299, this is known as the Four Corners region, just northeast of Bernie. Looks to be clear there, but there's a look at Cedar Pass. Yeah, it looks a little icy to me, actually. There's Shingletown proper, 3,500 feet, but again, you don't have to go too far to the east, and you start seeing more snow there. There's a look at Bogard Ranger Station. Oh, man, that does not look like a place I'd want to be driving at all. All right, take a look at this. You can take a look at 36 at 89. This is Chester, near Chester. Look at the snow up there. Yeah, they're seeing some snow. Johnson Grade, seeing the snow, as well as Fredonia Summit. No doubt there, that's the snow that's kind of collecting on the lens, so you can't see anything. There's a look at Highway 36 at 44. Still have some snow, can't see Townhill. Did get a report from a viewer, thank you if you're watching, from Susanville, saying you got some snow, and there's that confirmation. You got snow on the roadway there. And look at this, if you're heading out to Tahoe or trying to get out of Tahoe, know that this is what you're going to be dealing with. There are chain requirements everywhere. And we've been watching those chain requirements slowly work their way closer and closer to the valley. And that's exactly what I was talking about even earlier this week, that as we start to see the snow levels drop, we see heavier snow, you're going to see those snow levels drop and you're going to see more chain requirements. There you can see here through Saturday morning, you're still seeing those chain requirements. And then taking a look at the amount of snow on top of what they've already seen. Just for today alone, you're talking upwards of a foot to even over 2 feet of snow possibly, again, on top of what they've already seen. All right, so let's take a look at those lake levels. Yes, Shasta Lake, Lake Oroville have both risen over 7 feet in the last 24 hours. How awesome is that? We've seen spikes like this over the last week. I think at one point, Oroville had seen a 10-foot increase in a matter of 24 hours. Not as impressive for Trinity Lake, but that's mainly because you're seeing a lot more snow than actual rain kind of going into the lake itself. So that's the reason there. But there you can see here, the wave heights are expected to start to slowly drop, especially as we do go into your weekend. But that being said, the winds are strong this morning. The wave heights are strong. We're looking at a gale warning through about 9 o'clock this morning. So if you have to be on a small boat, just note that that may be something you'll have to contend with, or maybe just wait until this afternoon, until things begin to settle down. Your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We're looking at those temperatures in the mid-40s on average here for Trinity County. So here's what we've got. Rain and snow, snow down to approximately 3,000, 3,500 feet. And then we're dry for the weekend, dry through next Thursday. I'm keeping it dry for Trinity County on Thursday. We'll see. That's the case down to the south here. Temperature is actually in the mid to upper 50s. Now, for the North Coast, what you'll notice on the 7-day, rain today, dry all the way through Wednesday, and then I put a chance for rain on Thursday. It looks like the timing is something we're going to have to watch here, but it looks like it's pushing in sometime around late in the day Thursday of next week for the coast to see some of the showers, but everyone else at this point looks to be dry until next Friday. A lot can happen between now and then. That's not even a guarantee. We can't even set that in stone just yet, but just note that it does look to be dry through the weekend and through at least the middle of next week for everybody. Temperatures upper 40s for Highway 96 for I-5. You're looking at temperatures in the mid 40s there. We take you out to Scott Valley where temperatures are going to be in the low to maybe some mid 40s. You've got snow levels around 3,000 feet, and there's the dry conditions through next Thursday. For central and eastern Siskiyou County, upper 30s and low 40s for your daytime highs. Temperatures are in the 40s and 50s. Modoc County, you're looking at Newell, about 39, 41 for Alturas, and 40 degrees out in Aden. And there you can see about 3,000 feet, 3,500 feet that is here for your snow levels. By the way, Modoc County, you're going to miss a lot of the rain and snow, so you're just not going to see much. Should that snow come through, though, you will see it, and you could be looking at some minor accumulations for some of you in Modoc County, including Alturas, including places like California Pines as well. 41 degrees out in Bernie, and there you can see 42. Now, Bernie, I think you might see maybe a bit of a mix, possibly for a brief period of time. If it's heavy enough, you could see all snow for a period of time, but you're kind of in that borderline elevation where it's either rain or snow, right? All right, so there you can see, or a mix. Then you can see, of course, the park. Not many people going there, but maybe people like to go snowshoeing. 38 degrees for Chester. There you can see 36 for Westwood. It's cold. It's getting cold out there. Take a look at Paradise. Let's get out of the way here for you. There you can see your 7-day forecast for Paradise. You're up to 50 degrees by Sunday. Low to mid 50s here through most of next week, and dry as well through at least Thursday. All right, take you up to the north. 50 degrees for Hamilton City, 49 degrees for Chico, and 49 degrees in Los Molinos. There's your 7-day forecast for Chico. And we've got those dry conditions after today through Thursday of next week. 47 degrees for the city of Shasta Lake, 49 for Anderson, 48 degrees in Palo Cedro, and Whiskeytown. You'll see a high of about 47 degrees today. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding. And we've got those temperatures in the low to mid 50s, 56 degrees for Monday, Tuesday, 55 degrees on Wednesday, and looking good. Looking good. I don't know what that was about. Hey, tell me what you think of this shirt. So my wife noticed it this morning. She said it was kind of a 70s retro feel. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. What I like about it is I don't know if I got it or someone got it for me. I've had it for a while. Looks like snowflakes. All right. That was kind of fun. Yeah, what do you think? I was talking about those winds in Santa Cruz. Jackie Dixon saying, Santa Cruz had 90-mile-an-hour winds. The harbor is a mess. Oh, my goodness. So and this is exciting, folks. For those of you who have any connections in Santa Cruz, I want you to know that I am super, super, super excited to let you know that, as you know, I'm part of a national weather network, and I'm going to show you that national weather network right here. Let's go to it. National, no, of course, it's going to give me calendar. Weather network. It should just be in there, really super easy. Weather network, there it is, National Weather Network. There it is. Okay, so what I want to show you here is a map. We're going to go ahead and pull it up. Learn more today. Okay, so that's a map of the nation, obviously. I am part of a whole plan for there to be a digitally based national weather network. So I know all these guys. Hopefully some gals will get in there as well, but I know all these guys here, and they're just like me. They're known in their communities. They're local. They've lived in their communities for a long time, and they are local experts in their area. And that's the beauty of what National Weather Network is going to be doing, is you know, and you can rest assured that the forecast you're getting for anywhere in the nation, once this grows, you'll be getting an accurate and reliable forecast like that from me locally, right? Now notice I'm this lone red dot here in Northern California, but there was a digital media conference that we put on, second time this year, in, well, south of Nashville. It's called Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. And I met a guy who's from Santa Cruz. And he is right now in the process of doing this. He's going to be setting up shop, and we're gonna be working very closely. But there's going to be another dot there. There's going to be another dot there in Santa Cruz. So that's very, very exciting. This is the growth that I was hoping to see. See, we need to fill that gap between the central United States and the western U.S. But as you can see, we're coast to coast. New Jersey off to the east, and of course, Northern California here. We do have someone who will be launching January 1st in Colorado. Okay, so we got someone there. And yeah, we got more red dots that are going to be coming on that map here shortly. So we're very excited about what this is going to become, but it is growing, and it's growing fast. This was just 6 dots to begin with, and we're going to be adding on a lot more red dots on there in the weeks and in the months to come. So we're very excited about that. So I just wanted to kind of mention that because you had mentioned Santa Cruz. Jackie Dixon had mentioned Santa Cruz. Do I have it here? Yeah. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, that's why. Okay. And then I got Sandy saying, great shirt. Thank you. Jackie Dixon saying, pop the collar. Like that? You know, I used to do that. That was me in high school. I was a preppy guy. I did the pop the collar thing. My son was kind of making fun of me because I think I mentioned that to him. Your shirt does have a Christmas flair. It kind of does, doesn't it? I thought it had snowflakes before you said that. Okay, cool. All right. So I guess I'm not the only one. Again, I can't show your comments on the screen because, oh, did I not show? Oh, no, I did. Okay, good. How exciting for the future forecast. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it. You're going to be okay, think about it like this. The Weather Channel, right? They've got a big website you can go, but see, they've become such a big company that it's just all automated. There's just a lot of automation. Granted, we all use automation. There's no doubt about that. But we still have a level of keeping things local. The forecasts that you get from my app are generated by me. See, I have about, how many there are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I've got a total of 12 zones. So every morning I wake up very early and I generate for 12 different zones that are strategically placed all across the viewing area of Weather NorCal. Of all of those zones, what it does is it takes the automated forecast, takes my forecast and adjusts the automated forecast accordingly based on what I think is going to happen. And then it pushes it out to the app, it pushes it out to the website, it pushes it out to the maps that I use here during my presentation, and you've got a one-stop location. Every map that you see, there's consistency across the board. So that's kind of how we kind of do that. Forest Summit page is helpful too. Interesting. What is this? Let me take a look at that. I'm going to click on your link here. Oh, it's a Facebook page. Yeah, you know, there's another Facebook page, by the way, folks. It's for Scott Mountain Pass. So that's really cool here. But I'll have to check that out. Forest Mountain road conditions. Where exactly is that? Oh, Forest Mountain Highway 3. Forgive me. Oh, Fort Jones, California, Wairika. Oh, wow. This was 9 hours ago. So I'm going to show you here. Oh, I can't. Never mind. But looks like as of December 25th, 9:35 p.m., there's a lot of snow on Forest Mountain. So there you go. But now it's saying 18 minutes ago, 6:45 a.m., clear but very icy. So it looks like it's very icy in that area. So really a lot of great Facebook communities you can go to as far as those road conditions are concerned where it's not really covered even by Caltrans as far as any cameras. There are, of course, a lot of holes within the camera. They've got a lot of great cameras. Let's not even try to downplay it. Many, many amazing cameras, but of course they can't be everywhere, right? So the holes, unfortunately, for people like Scott Mountain and things like that, want to see what it looks like, and you just don't have a source. That's why we help each other out on Facebook and stuff like that. All right. Hey, this is kind of nice. I was just kind of looking at it this morning, or just now. This is looking out at Elk Country, north of Trinidad. You can see some clearing that we are starting to see. So again, we're getting on the back side of this storm system, at least for parts of the coast. There's still some heavy rainfall for parts of the coast here this morning, but we're going to be looking at that all shifting eastward. In fact, let's take a look at the radar because see where the current conditions are with the radar. We'll put that on with even, there we go. Yep. Yeah, we still got some pretty heavy rainfall there. Let's take a look. So, kind of interesting. We're seeing the clearing right now, right? Seeing the clearing there, but that's clearing, but behind that clearing is another round of rain. So we were just look north of Eureka and Trinidad. That's where we were just looking. You can see that little dry slot off the coast, but you've got more rain coming in from the west that's going to be pushing through. So Trinidad, you're dry now, but you'll be looking at more wet conditions here. Give it another hour or so as that kind of pushes off to the east. The valley is still dry at this point, but we'll eventually see some of that rain. What are these here? We just took a look at these earlier. Let's take a look at what these are. This was, as of 4:20 this morning, Junction City, California, mud, dirt, rock slide on the highway on Highland Road. So I don't think it's actually on Highway 299, but there is a landslide in that area. Also had a report of some snow yesterday evening at 3,400 feet, 38 degrees outside. So most likely they didn't see much in the way of accumulation, if any, maybe some on the grassy areas. There was a strong wind gust 2 miles northeast of Pepperwood, California. A tree down across Highway 36 near Grizzly Creek, Redwoods State Park. And we're looking at also some gusty winds that put a tree down. Tree fell on the roadway. Several cars had actually hit it between Myers Flat and Miranda on Highway 101. So no surprises here that we have downed trees. No surprises that we have snow reports. No surprises that we have a landslide. Let's see if we have any reports coming in from the Tahoe region. I don't know if there's anything coming in. Let me do an analysis map here. Doesn't look like there are any. Last 12 hours. Let's do last 24 hours. Let's have a little fun. Let's do 24 hours. See a lot more things popping up. 24 hours. And just kind of give you an idea. Last 24 hours, some reports coming in. Heavenly Ski Base, as of Thursday, 2 p.m. yesterday, had reported about close to 6 inches of snow, 7.5 in Tahoe City as of 8 a.m. on Thursday. So again, this is kind of old information, but look at that, over 2 feet of snow. Tahoe Ski Base. This was 7:34 Christmas morning, over 2 feet of snow. Interesting. Almost 2 feet of snow. Peak Ski Base, Nevada. You can also see this is an observer station, so that may not be 100% accurate. This is South Tahoe. Heavenly, reporting 5.8 inches. This was yesterday afternoon. So yeah, they got some snow, and they're going to be looking at more snow today. So I thought it would be fun to kind of check out some of the reports of snow in the Tahoe region. It's kind of fun, right? And of course, we have those reports here locally as well. All right, let me double check the comments, see if there's any questions, comments, or concerns. If not, we'll be wrapping this up. Let's see, here we go. There we go, Catherine Schmidt saying, we really appreciate your up-to-date weather. Thank you, Mike. 34 degrees where she is. No snow yet. That may change. We'll see. All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for us this morning. Let's take you to another camera here. There it is. This is Elk Country, just north of Trinidad. And it's dry for now, but you've got more rain that'll be coming on in here later on. We are going to leave it at that, and we're going to leave you with some cameras. In the meantime, have yourselves a great Friday. I, of course, will not be doing Coffee with Krueger tomorrow morning. It's a weekend, and it's going to be dry tomorrow, so we don't have to really worry about it. I'll be filling in for Chase tomorrow morning for your 6 o'clock update, but he'll be back at noon on Saturday, as well as the 6 p.m. and for the rest of the weekend. So I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to the weekend, folks. It's been such a busy week, with really since last Sunday. It's been super busy. But here's the thing. One of the good things that came out of this, because as we know, it was very tragic what happened on Sunday. A lot of you have property damage, a lot of damage to your homes, and I am deeply sorry about that. And of course, there was just it was just a nasty, nasty situation. However, as a result of this, from my coverage of the flooding and the coverage of that storm on Sunday, my viewership has gone up just on Facebook alone by over 3,000 followers. Huge growth, huge growth. This is good for Weather NorCal because now we've got more viewership, we've got more people watching, more people seeing what a digital weather station can do outside of what TV can do. And again, I don't want to downplay it. They are also a good resource of information, but I don't have corporate dragging me down, bottom line. And that's why I'm so excited to be doing this on my own. It's owned by me, folks. I make the final decisions. That's why we don't do the drama. That's why we don't do, first severe weather, whatever, right? All that stuff. You don't do it. No drama. I hate it. Drives me crazy. So that's the beauty of it. But thank you all so much for those of you that just discovered. And here's what I ask of you if you're new to this. Tell your friends, tell your family about it. Download the app, show them how to download the app. Let's get more people on the app. Let's get more people on the website. Let's get more people on watching the 24-hour streaming channel, which is available on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick. We'll kind of go back to me. And we can see this grow even more. So again, I appreciate those of you that have come to me and are still coming to me as a source for your weather when it comes to anything that's going on, not only severe, but even just the day-to-day process. I'm here 24/7, folks. Weather NorCal is here for you 24/7. I've got a weekend guy. He's been working for me for over 2 years now. And I've also got a gal who's working for me part-time, and she's going to be doing Mondays for me for the most part. So you won't see me on Monday. You'll see Aurora doing the weather for you, or eventually as revenue grows, and I've got a mission for and some plans to get the revenue generating more here at Weather NorCal, and as a result, I will be able to get her on full-time, which would mean we would have a staff of 3. We kind of do now, and I want to get that staff up to a full-time staff of 3 so we can have an even bigger team and even more reliable and up-to-the-minute information, because I can't be everywhere all at once. Yesterday was a prime example. I didn't have much of a Christmas yesterday, as much as I hate to say it, because I wanted to make sure that you were all safe and informed. So there you go. All right, enough of that. But now that things are quieting down, I'm very excited. I'm going to have the weekend with my family, and I'm going to try to take full advantage of that. So thank you all so much for watching. We will see you. Probably the music's been going in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud. Is it too loud? Do me a favor. Let me do this. Let me see if it's too loud. I don't know. Maybe. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy's saying that you've been sharing. And Sandy's saying I love it. We appreciate your true weather coverage coming from Jackie Dixon. How is Lakehead and Redding area over the bridge going to look like the morning through tomorrow morning? I think that's still about, 2,000, 2,500 feet? Probably too low. But just check the road conditions. Go to weathernorcal.com. I'm going to turn the music down in case it is distracting. But let me know in the comments if it's too distracting. But I'm going to show you something here. Let's go here. All right, so you go to weathernorcal.com. Here's the top of the page. You scroll down, and it says road conditions. Now, the road conditions, what's cool about it is you can see here, there's a link to Quick Map for chain requirements. Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. Here we go. And again, we're at the top of weathernorcal.com. Let's go to the top there. There it is, top of weathernorcal.com. That should be playing. What's going on here? Let's do a refresh. Is it frozen? Hopefully not. Okay, good. Then we scroll down, road conditions, and then from there we scroll down, and you can see here there's a quick link to Quick Maps, but then you also have a quick glance at the camera. Oh, look at Snowman Summit. That is covered in snow. Let's see what I-5 looks like. Fondale exit looks okay. I-5 looks okay at, boy, 6:30. That doesn't update very often. And there you can see some of the other cameras and what it looks like up there. There's a look at Bogard Ranger Station, Johnson Pass. There's a look at near Chester. For down near Summit has snow all over it. And there you can see Janesville and Doyle. So kind of interesting. A great resource. So yeah, I would highly recommend it for that. Music could go down just a little. Okay, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. Music is now down. Tell your wife thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. She'll appreciate that too. We'll get some good family time this weekend for sure. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Let's go to, we'll start with this camera. We'll get the music back up and we'll wrap up the show. We'll see you Tuesday morning. Meteorologist Aurora Murray will be on Monday morning to give you the latest forecast. She'll be live on Coffee with Krueger on Monday morning. I'll be back again. Well, of course, I'll be giving you updates through the day today. And tomorrow morning, but then I'll be back next Tuesday. Have yourselves a great Friday. Hope you had a great Christmas, and we'll see you. We'll see you in general. Have a great day.